This video is a comparison of three ways to find which way is the best way to get maximum or minimum of two or three numbers. So let's begin. In this video I'll talk about the first is ternary operator, second thing and this is the primary topic. So what should we use, the ternary operator or the if else block or math.max library function to calculate the maximum or minimum of two or three numbers. Okay, and for that for comparing the time taken, I'm going to use system.nanotime method. So about this method, it is a part of java.lang package and hence you do not need to import it. And lastly, I'll tell you a bonus thing about VS Code autosave. If you don't know it already, it will be helpful for you. So let's begin. So simple, if you do not know ternary operator, then the condition, then the syntax for ternary operator is very simple. There is a question mark on the left side of the question mark. You see this condition, and on the right side what is to be returned. If this condition results in true, then value 1 will be returned, else value 2 will be returned. If the condition is false, then value 2 will be returned. And in place of value 1 and value 2, you can also write expressions. Okay, these expressions can be ternary ternary operators again to make nested ternary, and we are going to see that here in the program. Okay, so let's begin with the program, and for that I'll open VS Code here, and this is the ternary operator program. We have got two integers, a and b, and to find the max, so it's very simple. A greater than b. If a is greater than b, then read the question mark as then a, and read the colon as else b. So if a is greater than b, then a, else b. Okay, system.out.println max. So you get it, and although there is no need to run it, I'll run it. Java C ternary rat.java, and then Java ternary rat, and we get the answer. Now let's move on to the main program. Here I've taken long so as to increase the time, because that will make the difference more visible. Okay, so now let's focus here. So we have got three numbers, we need to find the maximum of three numbers. Here I'm using a nested ternary. Okay, and this here is the t start is the variable to store the start time of the what system.nanotime does is that it returns the time in nanoseconds at the instant the method is called. So what I am doing here is I am calling the system.nanotime just before executing the find max code, which can be a single line as here, or can be a block as we will see in the if else case. And then we record the time again at the end of that expression, or at the end of that block of code, and that is stored in t end. So t start and t end is time start, time end. We store both, and then we subtract the ending time minus the starting time, and we get the total time that was taken for this. So this is for the ternary operator. This here is for the library, that is math.max or math.min here, and this here is the code for finding max or min using if else. So it's here, it goes like if a is greater than b, then we need to check if a is greater than c. If a is greater than c also, then obviously max is a, else the max is c, because a is greater than b and c is greater than a. Okay, so you get the logic. The logic is quite simple. Okay, and then again t and minus t star, and let me show you what happens when I run the code. Java C rat2 dot java, and then Java rat2. Let me increase the size of this window. Okay, now you can see here time taken by ternary operator is larger than the time taken by if else, but it is quite small than the time taken by library function, and this trend remains consistent no matter how many times you run it. the exact time changes, the time taken changes, but the trend is very consistent. Like here you can see it is taking 556 nanoseconds if you use ternary operator, and if you use if else it takes about 447. So the difference is not quite large between these two, but the time taken by library function, that is way too large. So it is about I think 80 times the time taken by ternary operator, time taken by library function. So now if you go only by the time taken, then obviously if else is the most efficient one, it takes the least amount of time, but the time difference between if else and ternary operator is not quite large. It is about 100 nanosecond or 200 nanosecond, so it can be ignored, the time difference. But what benefit you get if you choose ternary is that you can see the code here. It is a one line simple code if you go for ternary, and if you go for if else, it is about 10 lines. So what would you prefer, a single line or 10 lines? So and if you find this expression complicated, then it is not complicated. See how it works is, this bracket here is not necessary. I have given it just for making it simple. See, if A is greater than B, then we need to check for if A is greater than C or not. So this, if this is true, then first part will be executed. This is expression 1. Expression 1 will be executed. If this is false, then the second expression will be executed, and they are separated by a colon. And in the first case, if A is greater than C, then A will be returned, else C will be returned. And if the second expression is executed, then if B is greater than C, then B will be returned, or else C will be returned. So it is basically if else. I am doing the exact same thing that I have done here, but here it gets done in a single line. So that's about it. That's about ternary. Now something that you would have noticed here is that if you already know, then it's good, but if you don't, then there's a feature in VS Code of autosave. So this here, this circle, this indicates that this file has not been saved. There are some unsaved editing in the program. Okay, so what I need to do, if I press Ctrl S, then this will be saved. Okay, but and see, you can see that the circle has disappeared. Okay, now but let me remove the space. We get our circle back here. Now what I am doing is, you can go to file, then preferences, then settings, and then here you will find this autosave, and just it is by default off. You have to select on focus change. What this does is that as soon as the focus changes, it will save the program. So what happens, let me close this one. What happens is that, let there be a change, unsaved change. So you can see the circle here, also there's a circle, so there's an unsaved change. Now as soon as I go on to a terminal, that terminal might be embedded like this one, or it might be a separate terminal. So as soon as I go on another terminal, I click here, the file automatically gets saved. Now this is quite a small thing, but it is very beneficial, because many times when you are writing code and you have to run it again and again while debugging, you forget to save the code again and again. So yeah, that does help a lot. It helps me a lot, so you could try that. So that's all about this video. See you later.